Vivarium. Vivarium traps people in a place designed to feel harmless. A suburban neighborhood, identical houses, perfect symmetry. What makes this location inescapable isn't confinement, it's imitation. Everything looks like freedom, but nothing behaves like it. Roads loop endlessly, landmarks repeat without variation. Every attempt to leave returns you to the same starting point.
Tom,
What?
number 9 again.
The couple drives for hours in one direction. The sun never moves. The fuel gauge never empties. And eventually, they're back at house number 9. The environment doesn't escalate immediately. It waits. What's terrifying here is normalization. The longer you stay, the more the place feels functional. Daily routines form. Resistance fades. They receive food deliveries. They maintain the house. They follow instructions. Not because they accept captivity, but because the alternative is starvation. Escape isn't blocked by walls. It's eroded by repetition. Eventually, living stops being a goal. Not because it's impossible, but because the environment trains you to stop trying. The neighborhood doesn't punish defiance. It simply refuses to acknowledge it. But what if the location isn't empty? What if staying means becoming the danger? Pontypool. Pontypool confines its characters inside a radio station. There are doors. There are roads. The town still exists beyond the building, but language itself becomes the barrier. What makes this location terrifying is containment through responsibility. Leaving doesn't mean safety. It means spread. A virus transmits through specific English words, through conversation, through understanding itself. The DJ hears reports of violence spreading through town, people attacking each other after hearing certain phrases.
What's happening, Ken?
The side of the office. This building has just burst outward. It's spilling people. It just kind of exploded. Oh, Jesus!
And he realizes broadcasting could accelerate the infection. Information becomes dangerous. Words infect. Communication itself turns hostile.
I've seen things today that are gonna ruin the rest of my natural life, Grant. And I'm scared. I'm scared.
The characters aren't trapped by physical force. They're trapped by moral consequence. Escape becomes unethical. Staying becomes necessary. They barricade the doors not to keep danger out, but to keep themselves in. Because leaving means carrying the infection to unaffected areas. The location doesn't collapse, meaning does. And once understanding fails, movement becomes risk instead of freedom. The radio station stops being a workplace. It becomes quarantine, self-imposed, inescapable. But what if the location isn't hostile? What if it just erases who you were? The Lighthouse. The lighthouse traps its characters on an island where time stops behaving. Supply ships may arrive, or may not. Days blur, memory fractures. What makes this location inescapable is dependency. You rely on the place that's destroying you. Work replaces timekeeping. Routine replaces identity. The two men maintain the lighthouse. They follow schedules. They perform tasks. But the tasks stop meaning anything. The light doesn't guide ships anymore. It just burns. The island doesn't physically prevent escape. It removes the psychological conditions required to attempt it. Isolation warps perception. Reality becomes negotiable. Arguments repeat. Accusations shift. The same conversations happen in different orders. and neither man can tell if days are passing or looping. Eventually, leaving stops making sense, not because escape is impossible, but because they no longer remember why they came. The storm keeps them trapped, but the storm might have ended weeks ago. They can't tell anymore, and that uncertainty becomes its own cage. But what if the location isn't passive? What if it fights back? The movie 1408. 1408 traps a man inside a single hotel room. No maze, no distance, no ambiguity. The room actively resists escape. What makes this location terrifying is precision. The environment responds instantly to defiance. Time loops. Walls reset. Reality reorganizes itself to maintain containment. He tries to break the window. It repairs. He tries to leave through the door. It leads back into the room. He tries to set the room on fire. The sprinklers activate, then stop. The room doesn't punish randomly. It corrects behavior. Every attempt to leave triggers recalibration. The clock resets to the same hour. The phone rings with the same voice. The walls show the same decay, then restore themselves. Escape isn't about finding an exit. It's about surviving long enough to accept the rules. And the room never allows full acceptance, only endurance. He watches himself die in alternate timelines, sees outcomes where he succeeded, where he failed, where he never entered, but all of them end the same way, back in the room. But what if the location isn't stable? What if it rewrites itself? Grave Encounters. Grave Encounters traps people inside a building that rewrites itself. Doors disappear. Hallways extend unnaturally. Exits move. What makes this location horrifying is false logic.
What does that fucking say? What the fuck is going on?
Maybe it's just an exit down to the, like this way to the emergency exit.
The building pretends to obey rules. Maps fail. Floor plans lie. Time stops aligning with action. The crew marks their path with tape. They follow the arrows back, but the arrows lead to different rooms now. The entrance they came through is a wall. The environment doesn't reveal its hostility immediately. It allows confidence to form first. They assume they're lost. They assume they made a mistake. They assume they can retrace their steps. Once belief in escape collapses, the structure asserts control. Hallways stretch impossibly long. Rooms connect in ways that violate physics. The building expands internally while remaining the same size externally. You're not trapped because you're lost. You're trapped because the building knows where you are. And it's decided you're not leaving. But what if escape is possible, but only through obedience? The Belko Experiment. The Belko Experiment traps people inside an office building, a workplace, a familiar routine, a controlled environment. What makes this location inescapable is authority.
All employees, no matter what you're doing, please stop and lend me your full attention.
Hey, it's Jesus.
The building isn't sealed by accident. It's sealed by instruction. Metal shutters drop over every window and exit.
Did the security check this morning?
I don't know, sir.
God damn it!
A voice over the intercom delivers orders. Kill 2 people in the next 30 minutes, or 4 will be executed remotely. Escape is possible, but disobedience carries immediate consequence. The horror here is conditional freedom. You can leave, but only by following rules designed to destroy you. Employees try to pry open shutters. They try to disable the system. They try to negotiate. But the system doesn't negotiate. It only enforces. The location becomes a system. And systems don't care about individual survival. Only compliance. Once survival depends on following orders that guarantee others die, the building stops being a place. It becomes a mechanism. And mechanisms don't have exits, only outcomes. Which traps you worse? Walls you can see, or patterns you can't break? Let me know in the comments.